This week, we are focusing on medical radiation. Did you know that November 7th to 13th this week is the actual annual celebration of medical radiation technologists? They play a vital part in our healthcare system. They deliver professional imaging and radiation related treatment services with a caring touch, allowing patients to fully benefit from the latest in medical diagnosis and treatment technology. So today, in order to highlight that, we are going to focus on breast cancer. Our guest today not only has interacted with a medical radiation technologist or in that field, but she also has her own chronic pain journey, and we are so excited to have her today. Are you ready for another Chronic Pain Conversations? Let's go. Hello, and welcome to Chronic Pain Conversations. My name is Kalila Bruswell, and normally I would say, and this is my lovely co-host, Sharifa McLaren, but I don't have that today, and that's because Sharifa's not here. Unfortunately, Sharifa felt ill today, but it's okay because we're going to have this amazing show. And as usual, she is sending us all her heartfelt warmth and love and, a little bit of her attitude. So we're wishing Sharifa healthy recovery, and we hope that you get well soon, Mama. Mwah. So for those of you that know, this is a show where we have open and honest dialogue about chronic pain. We share on our experiences, acknowledge the wide variety of chronic pain diagnosis, and look at ways to manage our chronic pain. Now, this is the part where we would go into pain or pleasure. And even though Sharifa's not here, we're sticking to it because you know what? Everybody wants consistency, and some of you want to know how I'm doing. So, truth of the matter is today was a pain level that started with like a 7.5, made it down to about a 5. I'm really excited. I'm back into class for a couple of days a week, and it's only for 2 weeks, but it's been tearing my body down compared to also my working out. So I'm trying at this place where I'm trying to balance my body, balance my health, balance my pain. So as usual, you guys know me. I'm stuck between in pain, but still having pleasure. So that's what's going on with me this week. Let's take you into a couple of did you knows. So I normally ask Sharifa these questions today, but I'm going to ask you, and I want to hear what it is that you as the audience member has to say. So first question, did you know that the Canadian Association of Medical Radiation Technologists is the national professional association and certifying body for radiology, nuclear medicine, and magnetic Renaissance imaging technologists? That is a lot of different names. I'm pretty sure I didn't know this. I'm pretty sure you didn't know this. Did you know that according to the breastcancer.org, there are 12 types of breast cancer? I didn't know that. I went through it, and when we were researching it, Sharifa helped me research this. It blew our minds. We always thought it was just one type. It was just breast cancer, not understanding that there were different sub-levels of it. So this has been really interesting to us. Did you know that 58% of the women reported sensory disturbances such as numbness, tingling, or pins and needles feelings after radiation treatment for their cancer? Crazy. That's more than half. So everybody's feeling a side effect for this. So today I'm really excited to have our guest on. She goes by the name of Ms. Randi Brown. She has a story that kind of started back within 2019. She lives with side effects of chronic pain, neuropathy. I always say that wrong, you guys, but I got it. Neuropathy and constant fatigue since 2019. Her battle with metastatic breast cancer, which is also classified as stage 4 breast cancer, meaning that the cancer has spread to other parts of the body. This includes or may include the lungs, the liver, the bones, or the brain. This is what our chronic pain journey is, our chronic pain conqueror is dealing with today. And her journey is yet another example of why we even use the term chronic pain conqueror. So I want you guys to help me welcome Randi Brown to the show. Miss Randi, how are you doing today? Can you hear me?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm
Can you hear
doing
me?
well. Thank you. I can hear you. Thank you so much for joining us today. It is a pleasure to have
Thank
you.
you for having me.
Um,
It is a
Thank
pleasure.
you. Like, we have been going, and this season 3 has been really remarkable because Sharifa and I decided to do a twist in terms of being able to bring the voices of everybody to the show. And literally, can you hear that?
It's yeah.
Okay,
At first,
I'm
I was
going
like,
to
did my car
pause.
just start going off?
I'm going to pause and come back. I was like, no, hold on. I'll cut this out after. I was like, no. I'm like, no. It's going, I'm like, that's loud. Okay, so we're going to cut that part out.
Sounds good.
Okay. We're going to cut that part out. All right. So let's continue. So I just want to really thank you so much for being here, Randi. When Sharifa and I started season 3, we decided that we really wanted to bring more of a face to it instead of just being information. So the fact that we have, at least they say that there's at least 35 to 40% of people just in North America that deal with chronic pain, and you're willing to step up, is such a blessing. So I just want to say thank you very much. So to get us started, I wanted to ask you, can you identify what your chronic pain conditions are and give us the medical definition of each one?
So you mentioned the one that I feel like disrupts me the most, and that's neuropathy. And
Mhm.
that's where there is literal numbness in my fingers and my toes, and that's usually how people experience it. There also I have days where I also just nerves in general all over my body just hurt, and if you touch me, I'm like I get like really like just get away from me. I don't want to be touched. And then I being metastatic with my breast cancer, um, I have pain in my bones that I don't know that it really has a title other than bone pain due to cancer. So those are like the two major ones that really affect my everyday.
Wow. Can you I have one question for you because I have the same thing when it comes to my chronic pain, numbness in the toes, and sometimes I'll say it feels like I'm putting my like it feels like there's frostbite on my fingers, or it just like you can't feel it, or like when you try to, it's cold and you push your finger in and there's that numbness feeling with the circle. What does
Yep.
that feel like to you? Can you describe it? Is it a memory
So
like I
it's it like stingy. Like I get that, like that frostbite. I don't know that I've ever used the term frostbite, but I like that. But it's very like stingy, like somebody is stinging me or like poking you with like. And it's funny, I have multiple tattoos, but it's worse than that. Like it's being poked repeatedly with like one needle, like and that to me is like it's. And then every now and then, like I literally like I'll have something in my hand and it'll just drop, and I'm like I don't like that was involuntary. Like I just didn't feel it anymore. Um, and so yeah, so it's very like I usually use a mug so that I can like lace my fingers between the handle and hold it so that I
won't
can
slip?
grip it. Yeah.
Right. Wow. Randy, can you tell us, how did this journey begin? So you said that it got identified in 2019, but what was the journey? How did this all start? How did you get your development or your diagnoses? Can you share that with our audience?
So I actually got diagnosed with breast cancer in in December of 2016. So this December will be 5 years ago. Spent 2017 going through treatment. I had chemo, about 5 months worth of chemo, and then I had a double mastectomy with aesthetic flat closure, and then I had 6 weeks, 33 treatments of radiation to the cancer site. Was given the all clear and things were good, and I had developed the neuropathy and a little bit of like muscle pain. Some of the tiredness, like that doesn't go away right away. But I genuinely thought like, all right, 2018, here you come. Like we're gonna hit this hard, and we're gonna just kind of make up for this last year of like doctor's appointments and all of the things. And then 2019, I developed a pain in my left shoulder, and spent about 6 or 7 months like really just going, this is not a pinched nerve. Like I kept being told it was a pinched nerve, jumped through all of the insurance hoops. Like you have to get an x-ray first, and then you have to get physical therapy, and you have to do all these things. And then finally, actually it was July, so 7 months, I was from an MRI, and I like to say that it lit up like a Christmas tree. There were big, actually, measurement wise, it was actually about half of the humerus bone was described to me before it was biopsied, that it was bone eating disease. And I was like, that sounds fun. Like, let's see how that's going to play out. So then I had a bone scan and a CT scan. Some of those radiation techs right there have to see a neurological medicine to get the radiation for that scan. And then obviously contrast for the CT scan, had those done, and it was this big tumor in my left shoulder. Unfortunately, there wasn't a whole lot else involved at that point. And so we had surgery, and just the more medication and medication changes just kind of ramp up those side effects. The neuropathy got more intense, and I ended up on disability and just fatigue. That round of radiation after surgery was super intense, and it just drained me. And then let's see. So that was about September, and then the following, so 2020, probably about February or March of 2020, we found more spots in my skull and in my spine. My cancer really likes my bones. So we then, and it was more radiation at that point, and another chemo med change. And every time I have a med change, there's kind of an uptick in side effects. And that's kind of where we've been since 2019. It's been about every 4 to 6 months, I've changed chemos. I just started my 12th chemo. And again, like that just affects their new side effects to come with that.
So you started to touch on the medicine side and the treatment side. Has everything that you've had to do from a medical perspective, have you tried alternative medicines? Like you've said that they've tried different treatments. So is it different pills that have had to help you? What, for those of us that have no idea what someone in your position has to go through, pain in your bones, in your skull, in your spine. I mean, I can relate, but what kind of medicine are you taking? What kind of treatments are helping to alleviate you and help you cope with these illnesses?
So I take gabapentin I take it twice a day for the neuropathy. I also take Cymbalta, which is also called Dulcolax. All right. Anyway,
It's Dulcolax.
it's
I take it, yeah.
that has a pain feature, like it's whatever. There you go. Has a pain management component to it. So I take that for both a little bit of depression as well as the pain management side of it. And it's one of those things where you don't necessarily realize that you're in pain until you don't get the medicine. That's something that I have learned.
Wow.
And as far as chemo is concerned, specifically for the cancer, I've been on 12th chemo. I'm on my 4th intravenous chemo, and the other 8 have been in pill form.
So
And then
what does your clinical team look like? Who are the specialists or the names of the specialists that are on your team that you deal with on a regular?
So I have a medical oncologist that I see once a month. She is kind of to me, she's my primary care because cancer is my primary issue. And so she manages my chemo. She manages actually my pain management at this point. I also see palliative care. And what I'm learning is that a lot of people hear palliative care, myself included, and think, oh, it's like end of life planning, and that's not true. They actually do a lot of maintaining your daily living, maintaining your quality of life. And so I see palliative care for anything from really just kind of like a mental health check-in, but also just they want to see if there's anything they can do to help alleviate. I also, I did fail to mention, I do also take Dilaudid as a kind of a PRN pain medicine that's specifically for like bone pain. But so palliative care, my medical oncologist, those are my 2 regularly seen. I also have a endocrinologist that I see because I like to make things light and fun. And so I tend to joke a lot. And so I joke that chemo is the gift that keeps giving. And when I was finished with chemo and I thought I had the all clear, then I got diabetes because chemo jacks up everything else. So I ended up with an endocrinologist who follows that. I have a primary care doctor, but don't see her regularly just because I see somebody, I at least see a nursing team just about every week. So I don't if there's an issue, if I feel like there's something like unrelated to the cancer, then I would call her. And she's certainly available. And then those are the people that I see regularly. I have a radiation oncologist that would be a phone call away if I needed radiation again. And then I have an orthopedic oncologist who is the one that did the surgery. He actually took out the humerus bone and removed the tumor and replaced it with a plate screws and some cement. So that's kind of like the whole team, and a breast surgeon who she was actually the first doctor I met on the team because she does the biopsies.
So
it's a pretty big team.
It's a good team. It's just a very extensive team. Like, I get it. I have an extensive team myself.
Yeah.
So you brought up the medical technologist, and I'm just going to stop there because, this is somebody that people don't realize even have a position, or they realize it but don't know what they do. How has your medical technology, because you just said something, well, anytime I can just call them up anytime I need radiation. So what does that relationship look like? What does treatment with them look like?
So when I've had radiation, I had radiation in 2017 on the chest wall where the initial tumors were. And so that was daily. I literally went daily for 6 weeks. And so it started with meeting him. And literally he was the guy that hi, we're going to meet now and I'll see you in a few months. And I was like, okay. And so I met him, and then came back for what they call, and he basically explained what his job was. And his job is to basically plan out how intense the rays of radiation are. He has to measure that based, I don't know what all the calculations are, but I tease him, he's Dr. Doofus. He's one of those guys that he's super goofy, And but he's so smart. Like when you're talking to him, I'm like going, I don't like, you're speaking Swahili. Like,
Can
I
I
don't
buy
know
a
what you're
Bible,
saying.
please?
Yeah, I'm like, is there somebody else I can translate? But we developed that relationship where, like, I saw him in the hall, like literally in the elevator one day, and he was like, "Hey, hadn't seen you in a while. How's life?" And I'd be like, gave him a brief, quick update, and he's like, "Anybody needs to beat up?" No, we're good. Like, but I know you're the guy to call if I need that. So it was real, and I like to think that part of that is my personality too. Like I like people, and so it was a connection made. He had a nurse, but then there's an actual team of radiation techs that actually do the radiating that he prescribes. And
Right.
so my daily trip for radiation was with them. And
But he
they,
was the one that oversaw it.
right. And so Rose and Bob were my techs, and you could tell like they were like work husband and wife, but their spouses and their kids, like whatever. But at work, she was the wife and Bob listened. And it was so cute. Like the relationship they had, which just kind of put me at ease and made it like, okay, we're gonna do this. Like this is how it works. And then that was that. And so then when we found the spot in my humerus, I got to go see them again. Shorter amount of time. Like not as many treatments, but like it was the actual like dosage was higher. And so that was in like October of 2019. And then again in like April of 2020, that's when we found the spot in my skull and my spine. And I went back, and that was about 10 more treatments. And he said, like, I'm going to hit you a little harder this time, so maybe it'll stop growing. And I was like, oh, okay.
Okay. So I have a question for you. In terms of your pain, on a scale of 1 to 10, what is an average pain level for you now? And what was like the average pain level for you when you were first getting treated?
So when I first got treated, I would say it was at like a 1, and that was pretty sporadic. And then I started my second dose of chemo, which was a different drug altogether. That was kind of one of those things I didn't like. Chemo was chemo, and it's not. There are, again, I've been on 12 and there are still more that we could try. Like chemo is not chemo. So it's one of those things. So the second chemo that I started was really when the neuropathy started, and I went from like little to no pain to I was probably at a 7 every day. One, like you can take me to a 9, and I'm like, it hurts. And like that's just always been my pain tolerance.
Wow. Kudos to you for that.
I like to equate it. I lived for 40 hours with no med. Oh no, I agree. Thank you. But so then my pain tolerance kind of became like.
So I have a question.
So like every day it's like 7. Okay.
Okay. So through this journey, because we are now in 2021, so you've been dealing with this for 2 years now. How has your family and your friends been supporting you? Have you had to find any associations or support groups to get you through all of this? How's everybody been reacting and helping you through this?
So I would say, well, I recently in the last, let's see, we're looking at, this is November. So in the last 2 months, I've started going to talk therapy. I found a licensed therapist. It really, I got to a point where it was like, I've been through a lot of stuff. Got diagnosed with breast cancer, got divorced, got diagnosed with metastatic breast cancer. I have an 11-year-old. It's been a lot going on the last like 5 years. Maybe I should
So for
check in with somebody who can help me check in with me.
So for someone that doesn't know, what is talk therapy? Oh.
So talk therapy is, I kind of in the old days might have been going to, for me, I go in and we sit and we chat, and I see a gentleman, and we talk. We've spent the last couple of probably the last 6 weeks, we've really just been kind of building the rapport because it's a new relationship. But he's exactly what I was looking for. He's exactly what I needed. He has, we've talked through business ventures that I have, like trying to work through, and things that I want to do. We talk about the relationships in my life. He's helped me kind of acknowledge some things that I guess I didn't want to maybe put as much a point on as he has. Sometimes I like to ignore things, especially when it comes to the relationships in my life. Like, we'll just pretend that's not happening. So, but I mean,
what can you tell us? Is there a difference when you talk about talk therapy? Is that any different than seeing a psychiatrist, a counselor, or a psychologist, or is it just the theme or the term that you use in terms of talk therapy?
So I think I like to say talk therapy just to differentiate between physical therapy or anything else. But it is very, very much like, he is a licensed clinical counselor. He has, several alphabets behind his name. He's, very educated. But yeah, no, he's a counselor. He's a psychologist. And so I think talk therapy sometimes takes a little bit of the stigma away, maybe. But I think also, again, just more differentiate between like the physical therapies and those, and that's really the biggest for me. That's just kind of the way to differentiate.
So from the therapy that you've learned, from the counseling, and from the support that you've been getting, what are some of the lifestyle changes or some of the mindset changes that have happened to you through all of this? I mean, have you had to shift what you eat? Have you had to shift how you work around things? Have you had to shift how you love yourself? What does that look like? What are some of those things, or have there been any of those things?
All of those things, really. And I'm learning. I kind of feel like it changes a little bit every day. I am having to rethink my kind of, I guess my mother would say, you got to rethink your position, and I feel like that's where I'm kind of rethinking where I'm at, and when it comes to my abilities and things that I used to be able to do that I can't do anymore. I literally was squatted down. I'd squat down and take a picture. I have three nephews and a niece, all under the age of 3. And 3 of them were around for Halloween, and I squatted down to take a picture, and I literally couldn't even push myself back up. And so I kind of like fell over on my knee, and I was basically stuck. It was kind of like that. There's an old commercial from like the 80s, early 90s that I've fallen and I can't get up. Like I was having that moment. Like I'd fallen and I couldn't get up. And fortunately, in that situation, I have 2 brothers. I have 3 brothers and a sister. I'm the oldest of 5. And fortunately, 2 of my brothers were there, and they just kind of like each kind of came over and grabbed an arm and helped me up. But it was like this whole moment for me that, as much as I like to joke about things, it was very crushing. I definitely had to like, okay, so I'm not squatting for photos anymore. I'm not getting on the floor to play with them. They can come up to me, and just kind of rethinking those things. And so it's becoming easier, I think, to deal with that because I'm going to therapy, because I have a counselor. And it's kind of, it's an unbiased, he has no skin in the game other than that. I cut yourself some slack. Like, you're going through some, you know, it's like, oh yeah, I could probably do that. That'd probably be a good idea. So, but also I have an amazing support team. You know, I have a church family that supports me and loves me. I have a number of friends who love and support me. And so all of that is a huge positive factor for, you know, for my everyday life. My daughter is amazing. She is 11, and let me tell you, 11 is not toddlerhood. Like, 11 is a whole nother level. And there are days where I'm going, I don't look good in orange, so I can't go to jail today. So one of us is going to need to get it together. And then there are days where I'm going, who are you? Like,
did you come for me?
Like, yeah, like, who, what? Like, you're bringing me food and you're rubbing my back and you just want to snuggle and be here. And I'm, you know, so it's like, it's funny. But these are the realities. And so she really, like, is an amazing support too, because she keeps me on my toes.
I'm so glad to hear that. If we had an audience member that was watching right now and they are in the beginning stages of breast cancer or just got diagnosed, what tips or techniques, like, do you have, you know, one or two quick tips or techniques that could help them alleviate their pain or get through their journey? If somebody new was watching this who's been in your position, what would you say to them?
First of all, my first tip is get you whatever your affirmations are, whatever the things are that like get you hyped, get you ready to go. A fight song, I call it a fight song. Mine, when I first got diagnosed, was Hard Love by Need to Breathe. And in it, there's a line in it that says, courage takes a little bit to grow. So just keep moving forward. That's a bit of a paraphrase, but that moment of, you're going to get a moment where you want to give up. So you need that one thing that you can do for yourself. And for me, music has always been like life and therapeutic and just this ability to, like, all right, I'm really ticked off. I need to listen to this music, or all right, we just need to have a praise break. Like, it
speaks to you when you can't talk.
Yeah. So I would play and it was funny. My now ex-husband, it was a CD that I bought for him for Christmas, and hadn't heard this song, hadn't been diagnosed, on a CD, and it was one of those, like, little moments looking back. It was like, oh, God did that. Like, he planted that seed for me to give me strength.
Yeah, he does that sometimes. I love it when he does that.
It's incredible. Yeah. And so
that's the first thing. You before you get to the situation.
For the moments right, get that so that when you need it, it's there. I have a list. I have a playlist. I call it actually on my Amazon account. It's called second round 2. Because in my mind, we was going to have this tumor, and round 2 was going to, like, last until this tumor came out. Round 2's lasting a little longer than I expected, but it's still, those are my songs. They remind me who has me, who's holding me in the palm of his hand. They remind me where I get my strength. It's okay that I'm weak. It's okay that I have moments of weakness, because that's where my strength comes from. And then it reminds me, like, get up. You're not going to sit here and you're not going to mope and you're not going to cry anymore. It's time to get up and you're going to kick it in the face. Like, my hashtag was kicking cancer in the teeth. When I thought I was done, I changed it from kicking to kicked, and then changed it back to kicking because that's what I'm gonna do. I have a picture.
Pinky cancer in the teeth. I'm gonna use that for the show. I was like, write it down. I love it.
You can totally use it. I love it. That's something that it's on like any post I post in regards to this journey. But the second thing is I would encourage that person to say I need help. It's okay. And people who are offering to help you, give them a task. Even if you need to make yourself a list. If a person offers to help in my house, they can clean my toilet. They can fold my laundry. They can take out my trash. It's okay.
And it's not that you're trying to belittle them. You just need the help. That's where you need the help.
Right. Allow yourself to rest. And in doing that, let somebody else do the things that need to be done.
Oh my God.
And it's okay.
I love that. So that's going to take us with the mindset that you have. I'm going to repeat the quote that you gave us, and you're going to let us know, where did this mindset come from? So you said, there is good in every day. My encouragement to you is find the good and be grateful. It does help. What made you come up with that? What made you want that to be your inspiration that you left on this show?
Well, I think it also is good for me to hear it back, honestly, because there are days where I forget that there was something good in it. Looking back yesterday, in the moment, I would have said there's something to be grateful for. But looking back on yesterday, it was that I didn't have anything pressing to do. I didn't have to be anywhere. I didn't have to do anything. And I could literally just lay in my bed, rest my body, and have my daughter laying beside me. That's what we did. We played video games, and I napped, and I watched TV. And that, I am so grateful for those moments. But I want that to be the inspiration, because there are bad days. There are days where you're not feeling good, where it hurts to get up to go to the bathroom. And so remembering to be grateful, that is the thing that it strengthens you in a way that you don't even realize it can or is until it does it. It's just like for some of my pain meds, like when I've missed them. Oh, I really need those pain meds. Like, it's important. It is important for us to be grateful, because there's a roof over our head there. And if you start listing those things out, it's amazing. Like, I was having a bad moment, and I had somebody that I could text, which means I'm loved. Today I literally had a dinner with my family, and 2 of my brothers were able to come, and it was my mom and my dad and my grandparents and one of my aunts. And I ate, and I was in pain, so I went and laid on the couch. But I could still hear everybody. And my nephews, who are almost 3 and 2, think, okay, Auntie Red laying on the couch, we're just gonna climb her. And so I didn't feel excluded. I was loved on by the people that I love, and it was great, because I could still hear conversation. I could participate if I wanted to. I was able to spend time talking to one of my sister-in-laws, and it was a great time. And I'm just thankful. I'm thankful that even in the dysfunction of family, I have a family, and a big one, and they're around. And so, yeah, I think that's where it all comes back to. Just finding the strength. The gratitude strengthens you in a way that sometimes it's overwhelming.
Randy, I can't thank you enough for you being on the show today. We've got to wrap it up. But I want to
Sure.
give the audience members the opportunity to follow you or to find out, what platforms you're on and what it is that you're doing. But your story, your journey, your tips, your mindset. I love it. And this is what makes you a conqueror, because you still get up every day and you try to find something good in it. So I commend you. I commend you so much. But how can our audience members find you, my love?
So easiest way is warriorartisancoaching.com. If you go to Warrior Artisan, if you look, search Warrior Artisan on Instagram or on Facebook, you'll find us. So those are probably the website, Instagram, and Facebook are where we're kind of the most active. So yeah.
Thank you. So I just want to say thank you so much for coming on the show again. I'm going to put you backstage and just tell you to hold on while we close up the show. But it has been an honor and it has been a blessing to hear your story today. I just want to say thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you
All
for
right. Wow, guys, I don't even know what to tell you today. Like, as always, there's something amazing out of everybody's story, and you can never judge a book by its cover, because you don't even know what someone's going through. And I can relate to Randy in terms of what she was saying about, resting afterwards in the middle of it. But even though her body's resting, she's enjoying the moment. She's in the moment. She's hearing the voices of her loved ones. It's feeding into her. It's giving her energy. It's helping her know that there's love. And what I want you guys to know is that mindset, taking that whole positiveness instead of just looking at I'm on bed, is going to help you with your health. When we talk about emotions, whether you're sad or you're angry or you're vexed or you're overwhelmed, being happy and being at peace also heals your body. It helps your body. It helps it relax more. It helps it de-stress more. So I love so many things that she was saying. And as you know, I've been taking my notes again today. So just to wrap it up, so for those of you that don't know, in Canada and the US, there is the nationalbreastcancer.org. If you ever want to learn more about breast cancer, there are also the breast cancer walks that are out there. If you are somebody that is unfortunately dealing with radiation treatment, with this being the medical radiologist technologist week, the next time you see them, give them an elbow if it's COVID or an air high five, but say thank you, because somebody chose to go to school and educate themselves so that, with this type of technology, they can help heal people. So having and to determine and calculate how much radiation can go into someone's body and in what frequency, that takes a lot of skills and science. It's not something that I personally would want responsibility over, but just the job in itself is so amazing. So I want to take us right now over into our keep it moving moment, and today's keep it moving moment is from, let me say this, Arminda Mir. Arminda Mir. And it says, I may not have an umbrella to block the rain, but it doesn't mean I'm ready to weather. It doesn't mean I'm not ready to weather the storm. I'm going to repeat that one more time. I may not have an umbrella to block the rain, but it doesn't mean I'm not ready to weather the storm. That is your keep it moving moment for today. Just want you to remember that it is going to rain. We have all these different seasons, but even when it rains, you might have the boots. You might have shelter just walking underneath the different stores. You might enjoy just splashing in the rain. So even though something might seem like it's horrific, doesn't mean that you can't find fun in it or that you won't weather through it. So that's it, guys. As usual, we've had an amazing show. My name is Kalila and I'm the Overcomer. I'm giving shout outs for Miss Sharifa McLaren, who is currently at the hospital because she's always sending love. And we will be back next week, Tuesday, because November's full of these amazing days. And we're focusing on health, education, digital health. And I'm so excited because we never think about how to get our resources and how they're digitally out there and things that we can learn. So thanks for joining Chronic Pain Conversations. Be sure to follow us on Instagram or on Facebook or on even YouTube at CP Conversations. And remember, if you are a chronic pain sufferer who lives with a chronic disease or knows how to manage their life or is ready to share their story with the chronic pain community, we're preparing for season 4. And we want you to be on this show so that you can share your information. All you have to do is visit our bio and you can go into our guest. All you have to do is visit our bio link. And there's going to be a link that says share your story form. So you can fill that out. But we also invite businesses. Let's not forget, whether you're a specialist or you cater to the chronic pain community, we also want to invite you to this show. So perhaps you might be a marijuana chef. Perhaps you are a chronic pain association or support group. Maybe you're a medicine provider or an alternative medicine provider. We want to invite you to also be our guest. So just go to our guest link, click on promote your business, and we will have you on the show as well. So we just want to say thank you. And remember, Chronic Pain Conversations is the show that enlightens and advocates about chronic pain. We hope that you have an amazingly blessed week.